The first thing you need to know is that every time we go into an organization and we prioritize at the enterprise level, we find that 30% of the projects on the list should not be done because they don't have a reasonable return on investment. We even booted up a restaurant in London. I'm going to London in a week to do Scrum at Scale training. We have a restaurant, Ricardo's Restaurant. It's run completely by Scrum. As soon as he had the Scrum teams do the shift planning, he found a third of the shifts weren't necessary. We went into GE, Silicon Valley operation. They had 1,000 developers. They wanted us to audit them. We audited them. We found 30% of the teams were working on stuff the business didn't want. And as soon as they heard that, they wanted them to stop. Okay? So I call this the dark work. The stuff that people just make up that saps the lifeblood of the operation. Okay? So the first step is for the leadership team to be able to prioritize, to get rid of the dark work. Now, the stuff that we have left that might be useful, we have huge amounts of data over the last 30 years in software, and we're seeing the same thing emerge in hardware. 65% of the features are never or rarely used. So the job of the product owner's Scrum is stop building that. I mean, I recently rented a brand new, I have a Tesla, okay? When I walk up to my Tesla, the door opens up automatically. I get in and I sit down, I put my foot in the brake, it starts up. I put it in drive and off we go. So I rented a brand new Prius in Washington. I walk up to the door, it doesn't open up. I get in the car, I can't figure out how to turn it on. I look around, I finally find this on button, so I push that. But then I can't figure out how to get it into drive. They have some weird thing you have to do. I finally get it into drive, but now I'm worried about, is there some emergency brake I have to deal with? Because the Tesla does that all automatically. We don't have to worry about that, but now I'm worried. This must be an old, this must be a 1950s style car where you actually have to have an emergency brake. So I have to make sure that that's not working. That's hard to figure out. But finally, after 5 or 10 minutes of struggling, I get out of the parking place. I get to where I'm going. I stop. I get out, just like I do with my Tesla. I start walking away, and then I realize the car is still on. I'm 20 yards away from the car. I have to walk back, get in. Now I have to figure out, how do I turn this thing off? There is no off. There's only an on button. So I said, well, maybe if I push the on button, it will go off. And it does. But now I'm really worried. Does it turn the lights off, or is it going to run out the battery on me? So I have to mess around with the light switch and make sure the lights are on. I finally get out, and now, what kind of customer am I of Toyota? A really frustrated customer, a bit angry about those people that put all these useless features on the car. And because of all those useless features, I will probably never buy one. So it's not just that you're wasting money, you're really aggravating the customer, okay, by this useless stuff. So if we can get rid of at least some of that, we made some forward progress, then we can focus on, okay, of the stuff the customers will use, how effective is the team? So for the last 2 days, we've really been talking more about that, right? And we've been ignoring the 30% of dark work that's going on in your organizations. And we haven't been talking about, have we talked about getting rid of 2/3 of the features you're building in the last 2 days? This should come first, even before you talk about the teams, right? Otherwise, you're having the teams wasting their time, okay?